guys? Ryan with Jedha Patrol, back with another video. Today we're going to talk about the surprise release, absolutely surprise release by Sideshow Collectibles of their 6th scale General Grievous. And I want to talk about this. Now, this is something I used to own and I no longer own, and I'd like to discuss why that is, why then I no longer own that. In the interim, before we get started, you may be wondering, you already have Grievous. This is not the 6th scale Grievous. This is the quarter scale premium format General Grievous by Sideshow Collectibles. 1,500 pieces, if I remember correctly. I do have the exclusive, and for whatever reason, they made the cape an exclusive. Like, that was the part way back when they released this. And I have it, so there you go. So I actually got this at the same time I had the 6th scale version of it as well. So we'll talk more about that. So let's get into this. I got some photos here. I thought we'd take a look at this and kind of talk through my experience owning this figure and why I eventually sold it. And so, and I guess the extra question is, am I buying it again? That would be the other question. So there you go. If you're in a Facebook group, you probably already know the answer to that. But let's take a look at some photos, guys. I'm pretty hyped for this one. So again, out of nowhere, we get Sideshow's 6th scale General Grievous. Say that 5 times fast. And the photos, these are updated photos. These are definitely not the photos they had back in 2013 when this figure was originally released. And whoever did the photos did a pretty good job. I want to talk about the range of motion, the articulation, and kind of the pros and cons of this figure and whether or not it's worth the $285 price tag. But right here, that's a pretty good pose. I'm not even mad at that. That's pretty good. I'm not sure, if I would pose mine that way, but I think they did a good job with it, so I'm okay with that. I like the coloring. They did a good job on that. Taking a look at the portrait just right up close, the head sculpt on this guy was actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. Now, this the one they're releasing does not have the exclusive battle damaged head. That's the only difference between this one and the previously released version. The exclusive had a battle damaged head, so if you have that one, then you still have something rare because they're not giving that to us. However, I don't think you need it. I really don't. This faceplate is actually held on by magnets. They're strong enough to hold the faceplate on, but not like super strong, but it won't fall off or anything. I don't have to worry about that. The eyes are painted on there very nicely. The armor, the bone armor on this thing is actually very well done. I will tell you, if you're looking at this guy right here, the figure you're going to get is less yellow. I guess that's translating on camera. This, when I had those two side by side, this one definitely had that more deep earth tone bone color, and then the 6th scale version was more white. All right, so hopefully that translates for you guys, but it's definitely not this yellow orange color. The paint apps on the premium format are far and above the 6th scale figure, which is to be expected, honestly, for the price tag. But it's not bad, okay? It is plastic. It is not die cast. Anybody's wondering, is this a die cast figure? Definitely not die cast, 100% plastic. And the die cast version of this, I don't know there's any way they would actually have joints that would work that way for the cost. I don't think they can make that happen. But we do have these eyes. They're nicely painted. The armor looks nice. And then we have these switch out arms. So he comes with the set of 2 arms, and then you can actually switch it out, which you actually remove the whole shoulder joint. You have to remove that whole thing, and then you put on the whole set of arms. Now, that's cool. No question about it. The way you do it is not so cool, okay? So the joints, the arms are held on by a friction fit. There's no peg, there's no snap, there's no like audible click that, or tangible click that that is in there well. These are all friction joints, and it's a cylinder going into a peg hole. If you think a Marvel Legend or a Black Series figures and they have backpacks, they literally stick on there and that's it. That's all you get. There is no locking mechanism. So over time, those become loose. If you maneuver that thing a lot, they become loose, and you're going to see complaints and people who hey, I've owned this figure, or I currently own this figure, and I wouldn't buy it again, that kind of stuff. These are the complaints they're going to be bringing up. The joints get loose, okay? Now, it may be a while before that happens. Again, this figure originally came out in 2013, so it's been a long time, okay? So there's plenty of time for you to enjoy this thing. Now, if you get one brand new out of the box, and you'll be very happy with it. But just know that that's what you do. So that whole shoulder joint pops out, you replace those arms, and you're good to go. So I personally preferred mine when I had the figure without the cape. I know they said on the live stream that had given us an updated cape. I don't really feel there was anything wrong with the previous one, so I don't know what they updated. Maybe it's just the materials they use. Maybe it's updated, but the previous cape was just fine. I didn't really have a problem with that. It's definitely not up to the quality of, the quarter scale piece. This thing is great. But I preferred mine without the cape for reasons of posability, and I think it just looked a little bit more badass without the cape. So there's that. So let's move on to this next one. Again, he does come with a blaster, which looks pretty good. And then he has, this is the single arms, if you will, instead of the double arms he's got going on. And it looks great. I think they did a really good job with this thing. One point to note, I want you to look at this shoulder joint. You can look right in there and you can see that it's on a swivel. It's on a ball. It's not an actual ball. It's more of a hinge, if you will, where you can actually move that shoulder and that arm up and down, left and right, whatever you want to do. And that's going to get loose. So keep in mind, all these joints, unless they have re-engineered this figure, which I specifically asked on their live stream today, and they didn't have the answer to that or weren't answering questions at the time. There's a pattern of that going on over there. I don't know why, but it's kind of strange. I specifically asked, are you re-engineering this thing? Have you made any additional improvements, switches, or is this a straight reissue? And essentially what I got told was it's a straight reissue with a different cape. That was the very last thing they needed to fix was the cape. That was definitely not what they needed to spend their time on, but they chose to. So it does look good. You can get this pose. And I will tell you, some of the poses they've got in here, complete nightmare. This will not be the figure that you go and fiddle with and pose often. It's not that, okay? And which is another reason why I wanted the statue, in addition to it just being pretty awesome. This is not a figure that you're gonna go pose often because the joints are gonna get loose. And number two, it will drive you insane. Posing this figure, to me, was a complete nightmare. If you look at the elbow joints on this particular photo here, and there might be another photo we can look at closer up, you're gonna see two pistons. You got a top piston and a lower piston. Those, it's just, I don't know. They were just a nightmare, absolute nightmare. To get him to be able to hold his arm out straight was also not much fun. And you would have it in a pose and you'd come back later and it would have drooped down a little bit, or in some cases all the way down. Again, released in 2013. Yeah, the figure I had was in good shape. Like it was minty fresh, okay? So I really feel like the version I had was probably the best option that was available at the time. But you're gonna have some issues with that. But again, it looks great. This is just, it's a beautiful thing. Moving on, he does come with that staff. I never even took that out of the box because that just wasn't very interesting to me. You got a guy with 4 arms with lightsabers and you're gonna pose him up with a staff. I think not. I just don't see that happening. Not a thing. So here we go. Here are all the accessories it comes with. We've got obviously the figure itself. We've got 4 lit blades like this. There are no light up functions on the figure. And you got 4 unlit hilts that you can actually put, and you can actually do it on this figure as well. You can actually put the hilts right here. And it's got, well, see if I can get you in there. Now, right there, there's little pockets where he would store some extra hilts, so you can have them in there as well. If you've got him either holding the blaster or the plasma electro staff, sorry. If you've got him holding that, you got to have somewhere to put the hilts because he's got them on him all the time. So you can do that. I don't recommend doing that because you're going to lose the hilts. Okay. Here's your switch out hands. At your shoulder, so you got that piece. The hands on this guy, all of them are articulated. So that's actually a pretty cool feature. However, I'm going to go ahead and warn you. He has magnets in his palm that are supposed to connect to the sabers. They're supposed to stop the sabers from falling out. However, they are so weak, terribly weak. I'm really hoping they fix that. But on the version I had, the magnets were very, very weak. And you would actually hold the saber and you would have to manipulate the saber into the hand so you would actually hold it and so it wouldn't actually flop around. I'm hoping they fix that, okay? I'm hoping they fix that. Having him hold the blaster, that's fine. He's got individual fingers and articulated, so no issues with that. And then we get to this base. And this is a Like special base they designed for this particular figure. And you know why? Because you need it. It needs a base to stand. This is not one you leave standing and you trust it. It is not that, okay? It's gonna fall, it's gonna break, no doubt about it, okay? It's just, don't trust it. Use the stand. The stand is a pain in the ass. Straight up pain in the ass for this stand, okay? It's got these two, it's a crotch grabber type stand, and you got to split it, and it literally goes in between the hip joint on here, and then the stand kind of sits on the ground, and you're supposed to kind of have it kicked out behind you or to the side or whatever. The stand is a complete nightmare. Terrible design. What I would recommend you do is get a generic dynamic stand with a crotch grabber, with not a crotch grabber, but a pincher thing, a clamp. I would recommend you do that, and I would put that around one of the legs or the waist, because I'm gonna tell you right now, this base, complete pain in the ass. Complete pain in the ass. And anybody who owns this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can sound off in the comment section down below. The base, terrible. Okay. So you might be saying, dude, what? You're freaking trashing the hell out of this thing. What's the deal? And you might have already pre-ordered this going, well, did I make a mistake? And that you might be thinking that right now. But here's the thing. With all of those problems, okay, and I'm hoping, again, I don't know if they fixed some of those problems. Those were the ones with the one I owned. And I'm expecting, since they it's pretty much a reissue, it's all the same problems. What other options do you got? That's it, all right? You're going to find this guy. You can't buy this guy. This is 1,500 pieces. And I don't remember how limited the exclusive was. But you can't buy this, the quarter scale. You can't buy it. The 6 scale, you have the opportunity to buy. Now, I had mine. I sold mine for like $700 back in maybe a year and a half ago or whatever. I sold it for like $700 or 600 and some odd, whatever it was. So I sold it for a lot of money. That was what the market was going for at the time, and there it goes. I got this in, and I decided, hey, I've got this. It's in a pose that's already badass. It looks fantastic. It's huge. Why have both? Right? That's the question I asked myself. Why do I have both? But I think there's a reason to have. I think there's something we have now that we didn't have then, and I'm gonna go get it. So just bear with me. All right, right here. This guy right here. This guy right here. And I haven't had him pose in a while. He's literally laying down on the shelf while I've got the remodel going on. This right here is going to be an awesome pairing to go with your 6 scale Sideshow Grievous. It's going to be awesome. I mean, these two together, it's going to be epic. Looking forward to that. Obviously, we've got Anakin, if you've got the episode 3 Anakin, and you've got Obi-Wan if you want to pair those up with those, which you can. I did mine like way back in the day. But we're going to be getting some animated sculpts, Anakin and an animated sculpt Obi-Wan. I think those are going to pair up very nicely with Grievous, like very, very nicely. In addition to this, I predict this guy right here is going to go up in price as well with these announcements of these clone options. As I don't see Sideshow, and I could be totally wrong. If we get an animated Clone Wars of Dooku, I'd be all in. I'm in. I think that would be epic. But if not, Dooku right here, huge contribution to Clone Wars. This guy's going up in price because he's going to look awesome with Grievous. That's just my prediction. We'll see. So the question on the table is, should you buy this Sideshow Grievous? And the answer is, if you are a Star Wars collector, yes, you should buy it. 100%. And you might be saying, well, I want to wait. I've seen the comments already. I want to wait on Hot Toys to release their Grievous. Well, if here's this Grievous right here that Sideshow is bringing us is releasing in like 2 months, like shipping in 2 months. If Hot Toys decides to give us one, it'll be 2 years. You'd be crazy not to at least enjoy this figure for the time period that we have it. And for $285, you'd be crazy not to pick it up. And by the way, if you want to pick this up, it's available at Sideshow Collectibles. It's also available at Collector's Zone. They got some sales going on at Collector's Zone right now, so you might actually save some money by picking it up from there. So check them out if you like. This is going to be it's going to be an exciting figure. So again, I sold mine. Yes, I bought it again. I already dumped all my rewards points that I had, which pretty much paid for the figure, and I bought the figure. knowing all of the issues, knowing all of the pain in the ass that the joints are, that posing it is, balancing it. Oh my God, balancing this figure. I mean, you might as well plan on 30 minutes to an hour posing this thing to get it to where it looks good. Like, it's going to take you a while. It's going to take you a while. Knowing all of that, I bought it again. So that should tell you something. Like, I have all of it. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm going to buy it. I already bought it, and there we go. So there are some issues that I haven't really talked about with the feet, the ball joints on the feet, those little crab feet or claw feet. The chicken feet. Those things are a pain in the butt to get balance. He's just a weird geometry on the character design. I mean, there's really nothing you could do with this other than having ratcheted joints everywhere, which it does not have. So there's that. There are, I believe, if I remember correctly, ratcheted on the ankle. I think there's ratchets on there, and it will support it. But this is a balancing nightmare. So please, if you get this, use the stand or use a stand. Do not let him stand by himself for a long period of time. It will fall and it will break and you will cry. Please don't do that. All right. So that's my thoughts on this thing. I think it's quite good. Here's a photo of the inside guts, if you will. They did that. It's nicely painted. There's no light up feature or anything with this, but it is nicely painted on that side. So I think that's pretty well done. Again, this is done way better, but premium format versus 6 seal figures, it's a different animal. Yeah, that's a photo of the chicken feet. Weird character design. So I don't know what else they could have done. It would have been, here's what it should have been done. The lower half should have been die cast. Just like we saw with IG-11 and we saw with K2SO, the lower half was die cast and the offset some of that balance. If they made the lower half on this die cast, it would be epic. It would be more than $285, but I think it would be worth it. I think that it'd be a better figure for it. But yeah, I think it's a good pickup. I think it's a good pickup, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. Now, the question I've got for you guys, actually for Sideshow, if they're going to release an animated Obi-Wan, an animated Anakin, a Sideshow General Grievous, where are the battle droids? Are they reissuing those so everybody can army build and have some clankers to beat up? All right, there's that. And then what are they doing with the clones? Are they reissuing the clones? Are we going to see ARC Troopers again? Are we going to see Shock Troopers? Are we going to see the 212? Are they going to compete with Hot Toys on the Clone Trooper front? Is there going to be a Clone War? I don't know. Like, that would be great. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because I like the Clone Troopers, especially if I get a newer one with not terrible bodies in them. Yeah, so on that note, I'm going to say let the Clone Wars begin. I'm good with whatever. I'll pick them up. I've already decided to pick up the Anakin and Obi-Wan whenever they decide to announce how much they are and when they're shipping and all that kind of stuff. We're going to pick those up there on the channel. But I know this is a long episode on one figure, but I felt like it deserved it, and I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. And let me know if you have already ordered this, or are you passing on it, or are you buying it? What are you doing with this thing? Let me know. And yeah, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, what the hell are you waiting on? Like, hit the button. It's free. And let me know in the comment section down below what you think of General Grievous. As always, collect what you like. Let the Clone Wars begin. See you next time.